So if you've had a hankering for reggae fusion, do not worry, I got you. Reaching out to the show recently, a 6-piece band from Fort Collins, Colorado. Solid reggae tunes from a band that has come from humble beginnings, and I'm really pleased to be able to introduce them to you today. Andrew from the band Lunar Shade, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Having listened back to your back catalogue, I'm actually really excited to start getting your tunes on the show more often. So this is exciting for me, most definitely. We've got 2 of your tracks lined up and ready to go. We shall launch into them in order of release, if that's okay with you.
Great.
Lovely. Just before we do, though, can we get some background on the band? How did things start off? How have things progressed for the band, taking us to present day?
Sure, yeah. So Lunar Shade began about 5 years ago, 2017. At that time, right beforehand, I was living in St. Croix in the USVI in the Virgin Islands. Spent a little bit of time out there because of my love for reggae music and the culture. Unfortunately, got displaced from Hurricane Maria and Jose and Irma, and then I ended up having to restart my life coming to Colorado and Fort Collins. I was kind of on a different path back then and really needed change, and so I started Lunar Shade, and it was something to give me light every day to wake up, write music, put my mind to something useful. And here we are today, 5 years later, taking it to the next level and, being able to do things like this with you today, Andy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no trouble. I love listening to the backstories of bands as well. I think quite often you'll hear the tracks and go, oh, I like that, and you know absolutely nothing about the band. So you've talked about the past for us. I'm guessing things have gone in leaps and bounds, bearing in mind that I believe you started off as a 2-piece and now you're a 6-piece?
Yeah, so I met Jason Johnson. He's from a group out of Portland, Oregon. They're called Pacific Vibe. We got together on a Craigslist ad, like every great relationship starts. And then we ended up doing kind of some acoustic stuff back and forth, throwing ideas around. And he was in a similar position, and he really wanted to put his heart into music. I'm really glad that we met together. We kind of did some acoustic shows together, which was really fun. And we really got to kind of dive around and experiment. And from there, we started building the band up to what it is today. Unfortunately, Jason is no longer in the group. He just had to move back for some family stuff in Portland, where he actually started Pacific Vibe. We share about 3 or 4 songs between the bands, written completely differently, which is pretty cool. So we get to bounce tunes back and forth. Look at what I did on Cool Me Down. Now it's fully in Spanish and stuff like that, which is really fun.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you want to plug anyone else, go for it. I'm happy for that. And it enables me to learn about new bands and artists too.
Yeah.
So let's have a listen to the first song that we're going to play. Rather than playing something from your back catalogue, you've actually thrown 2 brand new songs at me. The first one of which that we're going to play is Too Many Times. Can you tell us about that and lead us in?
Yeah, so Too Many Times is actually off of our original first album, Flock Together, that dropped back in 2017 or 2018. We put that song together with our then first full band, Round of Guys. Had a little ska feel in the beginning, kind of like a whole different lineup back then. And then I really still didn't feel like we did justice to the song in the way that I think that we could have. So we went back and we re-recorded it and are placing it on our brand new album coming out in February.
Okay, Too Many Times Mark II plays now.
Let's do it.
night, ripping it, I'm feeling just fine. Half ounce of grass just to pass the time. I said, now where the time go? Right out the window. Luna shaded, faded, and I didn't even know. Yeah, spliff to my mind, spliff to my dome. Chilling in the comfort of my own home. Too many times. Mirando para el cielo estoy, pensando en ese lugar donde nací. Extraño esos momentos de vida, pensando en esa alegría. Alimenta mi alma, alimenta mi sol. Ese es el mensaje del corazón. Too many times. Too many times. Yeah, it's calling me. Yes, and now too many times I could see it. How my home belong right by the sea. Yes, and now too many times I could see it. Oh yeah, yeah. Too many times I could see it. Oh yeah, yeah.
Luna Shade plays on the Offbeat Reggae radio show. This song is Too Many Times. Now, for this bit, I do like a story. Sometimes we get something juicy, sometimes we get something funny. Are there any standout moments that you can share since the band started a few years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I've been through it all. I think COVID, really put a damper on a lot of musicians. And as a young group like us, and we were trying so hard to, get in the forefront, get on stage and do all these things. And then COVID happened. And here we are today with this brand new sound that I think is sounding even better than we could have imagined at this point in our musical career. As far as hilarity and all that stuff, there's been many times, sometimes I've forgotten them, partying a little too hard or having a great time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing being able to come back around and out of COVID like this and reamp this sound.
Yeah, most definitely. I've spoken to a lot of bands in the past, I'd say half a year, that have been hankering to get themselves back on the stage and have felt really penned in.
Yeah, it was an interesting time for sure to figure out new ways to get to your audience, to engage. We did a lot of live streams. We did tons of sit-down shows. A lot of people were kind of coming and you couldn't stand or dance. That was the most awkward thing, I think, through the pandemic, was we had everybody sitting down in front of us. And man, when you feel the energy from the crowd and then the crowd's just sitting down, it's a hard one to muster up that energy, So we were just living off of people tapping their feet and bobbing their heads for about a year.
You can't get a feeling for how the room is when they're sat on their bums staring at you.
Yeah, I think this was the first time in human history, where people had to, besides being in a band that just no one came to see the show, but when you have audience out there, it's a completely different story. It's weird. I'm glad that we can now play music again. It's a blessing for sure.
You've been back on stage since, though, haven't you?
Yeah, we actually were remaining pretty active through COVID. And there was a lot of groups that just kind of went on a hiatus, you know. And I kept pushing people, get in the studio, you know, get in the studio and get some new music out, start working on some stuff. But Luna Shade, we did some house parties. Of course, they were all kind of like regulated. In Colorado, we were one of the only active reggae groups at that time because people were thirsty for music, you know.
Yeah, speaking of, I think it's time for your next song. Now, the Too Many Times track that we played, back end of November that comes out, is that right?
Yep, we're going to be releasing that on November 25th.
Oh, nice. Okay, then. Right in time for the show dropping itself on that Friday. Of course, if you're listening on one of the other radio stations, it will be the following week. But I don't lie about this being pre-recorded, so don't worry about that. The next song, we're getting a kind of a massive advanced listen. Dream Chaser isn't out until next month, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's not going to be out. This is a sneak peek. We thought it would be fun to put this one out somewhere beforehand. But that one is going to release probably mid-December or beginning of January.
So this really is quite the advanced listen. So if you really, really like it, make a note and remember that it's coming out a month later.
Pre-save.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get it on. Have a listen. Luna Shade and Dream Chaser.
My dream chasers and my passion players and my naysayer, so gotta light 'em up, gas 'em up, let your heart beat true, or let the vision be true. Come light 'em up, come out of the box, but no, we can never rest, never weary like a fox. Flew from the ghettos we've all seen our idols take note from the speakers, but be wiser, they're the meanest. And now run, 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 chase them down, run, 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 whoa. Now run, 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 chase them down, run, 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 whoa. So many times I was told I would fall. I know you have too, so the story is told. To climb up from the bottom, to climb out for the holes, and it takes a mental strength of a lion.
Corren, corren cuando escuchan música, con el ritmo de la luna, con la fuerza del sol. Deja que la energía entre tu sol. Preguntando por dónde me voy, respondo que siempre busco al sol. Echamos el rugido del león.
Run, 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 chase them down, run, 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 whoa. Now run, 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 chase them down, run, 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 whoa. And my passion players and my naysayer, toe. Gotta light 'em up, gas 'em up, let your heart beat true, or let the vision be true. Come light 'em up, come out of the box, but no, we can never rest, never weary like a fox. From the ghettos we've all seen our idols take note from the speakers.
That song is called Dream Chaser. It is from a band named Lunar Shade, and I've been on the phone with Andrew. We have been talking about their past, how things started, some interesting stories from over COVID, and if you missed any of that and have only just tuned in, do not worry. You can listen back on Mixcloud anytime you like. So that song, Dream Chaser, what's the meaning behind it? What made you go forward and put that together?
We were having a conversation one day. This song actually kind of fell into our hands. It was one of those really easy writing songs that just kind of came out naturally. For us, it's just like being on stage and having this music together and doing this together is a big deal. And we've always dreamt of being on stage. And that's essentially what the entire song is about. It's just chasing our dreams one show after another. As you guys probably heard, Ismael Mendoza, he does the Spanish verse, and that gives it a little bit of Latin flair, which we really like a lot. It kind of gives it a little bit of a harder sound. But yeah, it's just about chasing dreams. I don't think anybody should ever put down their dreams for regular life, regular old life. Go and catch them, as we say, Dream Chaser.
Nice. Well, it's a fantastic song. I really, really like it, and I hope it does well when it releases mid to late December, early January. Haven't decided yet. Pre-save.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
No trouble. Have you got anything else that you'd like to promote while you're here? Any shows coming up?
So we're going to be playing down in Denver, Colorado on February 4th with Wake Up and Live, a Bob Marley tribute band. We've been going back and forth with those guys for about 4 years trying to book this show, and we always end up booking a show the same night and never can play it together. So this year we reached out to each other in July and locked it in to happen February 4th. That will also probably be leading into our album release, which will be around February 3rd or February 4th. And we'll go from there.
Oh, fabulous. Well, as and when you're looking to want to promote that, do come back and let me know. I'd love to have a listen and play it for you.
Would love to. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, no trouble at all. If people want to learn more about you, where should they go?
Yeah, great. Follow us on Instagram is our biggest one. We're usually pretty active on there. It's Lunashade Music _CO. We also got Facebook, TikTok for any videos and special content in that way. And always please visit our website at www.lunashademusic.com.
Awesome. Andrew of Lunar Shade, thank you so much for popping yourself onto the show. It has been lovely talking to you, and please do not be a stranger in the future.
Yep, let's stay in contact. I appreciate the opportunity, and everybody, one love, take care, and be kind.